Jewish studies in the middle school here at Yavneh is broken up into several different forms of learning. In particular, we have our 3 trimesters of different learning for every grade level. For 6, 7, and 8, each trimester they'll do a different Jewish studies rotation, including Israel studies with me, Beit Midrash with the rabbi, and social justice with a host of different teachers. Really focusing on this idea that once you get to middle school, now that you're solely really grounded in ritual and practice and custom and festivals in the lower school, in middle school you get to really start looking at the critical thinking, Beit Midrash behind Judaism, Israel studies, the active engagement with the politics and the land of Israel, and understanding where this whole idea came from, understanding Jewish peoplehood and land and state, as well as social justice, looking at the active doing of everyday Judaism in our world and how we engage that with our own personal feelings and engagement with the rest of the world. So it's a much more active, hands-on engagement with Jewish studies and Jewish practice in middle school, as well as our Jewish studies integration, which involves looking at parallel Jewish texts in both ELA, in global research, seeing how Judaism is integrated with and is also a part of mathematics and that sort of thinking, as well as science and understanding our natural world and how that engages with our Jewish practices. The idea that Judaism is kept relevant by actually engaging it with every other subject that we teach, knowing that it's not a standalone subject, but something that informs who we are in every space that we learn in and every space that we engage in. And that's what I think makes our program really, really different than most other schools. We don't see it as a singular subject. We see it as something that's infused into every part of our learning because it's part of who we are as a people and how we define ourselves. And though we take some very determined paths in studying Judaism on a more adult level with our Jewish studies rotations, Jewish studies is essentially part of everything that we do because Jewish studies is people studies. It's who we are as a people.
I feel like the teachers in Jewish studies, they really help us feel connected to, Judaism and the Torah. 'Cause at first I was scared to, read Torah in front of the class or learn trope or anything. And just that little push helped, of course, and helped me try new things regarding Judaism, and I feel really connected.
We've been studying Jonah. Not Jonah. It's like the story of Jonah and other destruction stories and how they're connected. We get to talk about stuff and we get to argue, and arguing is fun.
I also personally really like that class because, it feels like a connection to, my Jewish heritage, and I get to learn more about the Torah. I wouldn't get that at a different school. I feel really immersed in it, and feels really cool to feel connected like that.